us here at Valuationary have a lot of people come to us talking about moving into a different career line, just and not a very drastic career line either. Like, just it could be just from accounting to equity and things like that. And still, people are quite anxious about how they can even make it big in something that they don't have a lot of experience in. Now, you yourself were involved in your career earlier in audit and control, and in a few years, you went on to work for a merchant bank in various leadership roles around valuation. What motivated you to make these bold career moves and later on start your own firm?
Yeah, it all depends upon the stage at which you are. When you start your thing, then you need a job, you need a learning, you need a right sort of the experienced guys who can able to help you out, who may be your seniors. So at different stages, the things goes differently. When you reach to a certain stage, you suppose you started as an analyst, then you become the associate, senior associate, manager, senior manager, assistant vice president. So this being the journey that you travel. And when you travel this journey, you have a lot of experience that you gather. And this is how this experience will help you to take or decide what is going to be the future is. Then you say, okay, this being the time that I should start my something own where I can. One important aspect is when you being doing a job, even you being at the top level, the question is the job. In a job, you need to be very specific to your job. That this is your roles and responsibilities are, and you have to do it within those roles and responsibilities. But when you start your own career, then it's a 360 degree approach. It is not on. At times you have to bring the tea for yourself. You may be sitting in an office when you being the vice president, then there being the and chain of people who've been working together with you. But when you start there are a lot of things you have to do on your own, right? So, but again, it also gives you a certain amount of flexibility in order to travel to different dimensions. Okay. Suppose that in your job, you're not able to do much of the research work. And now you have the time to do those sort of research, which actually attracts you. So now, so this sort of the passion when you have, then you decide, okay, this is the right time to change the gears and take the responsibility and start your own firm.
Now that also brings me to another question that we've been noticing that nowadays there is an excess of MBAs and finance professionals out of work. Now I know how you talked about earlier that there are a few select MBA colleges trying to match the skills in work, but since there is such a huge number of people thinking that just because they have an MBA or just because they have a finance degree, they are going to make it to the top. What do you think is this reason of MBAs and finance professionals out of work? How can a candidate exactly stand out in such a competitive jobs ecosystem?
A very difficult one. The question is, everyone has to take its own move, and everybody need to understand what are the strength and the weakness he possesses, and based on the strength and the weakness, he need to decide his career. Suppose I being not good in the number game, I can't do the number crunching, and I want to enter into the valuation domain. It's been difficult because it does not sink to my mind. I being a person who can talk a number of things, but I can't look into the numbers. I can't understand more depth on the number side. So we need to understand what our strengths and weaknesses are. So when you are doing your MBA, you need to decide your career path. What is that where I can capitalize myself? So that may be one point in order to understand which, when I been doing my MBA, the very first job which I got, the vice president was taking the interview and he said, Manish, I would suggest one thing. You are very good. I look into your records. You've been very good into your financial domain knowledge. You've been good in, but I would say that again, you will become more successful when you go into the marketing side. So I said that what he is talking about, I have done the entire thing. I have taken all the subject into finance. I done my company secretaryship, and he is talking about the marketing, which is a very different cup of tea. But again, I would say when you grow into your career path, when you reach to a certain stage, then you see technical side become less and the marketing side become more. Anybody who been sitting on the top, what he is doing, he is just marketing every day. But you have to be well versed with all the nitty-gritties as well as the technical issues. But at another point of time, as your role grows, it is not only like pure finance or pure marketing, it is a combination of all, right? A lot of the student, when I take interview, they say, sir, I being a pure hardcore finance guy, I never able to understand what is hardcore finance is. Because finance is just a number which culminates from a certain theme, which start from the journey start, the numbers start from how the business being floated, how the marketing exercise being done, what sort of endorsement the company is doing, right? So I would say that we should be more, when you're doing MBA, we need to be a 360-degree approach rather than just one single approach. You may be very good at the initial phase of your career if you're being very strong enough in your technical side. But when you grow and you reach to the top position, then you feel that, okay, it's been very difficult for me how to start talking to somebody who being a stranger, how to do the meeting with somebody. So there are a lot of the professionals who have reached to the top position, but they feel scared to talk to somebody, to go to a meeting. They say that everything when it being said, then only I will go and talk to somebody. I can't talk to any stranger. Okay. So this is basically the part of the leadership that you need to develop over the period of time. Okay. So this is what I have my input on that.
Also, as you have been a mentor now for a few years, what advice would you give to young finance students and professionals who are specifically wishing to make it the valuation domain in future?
Okay. One important aspect that is there is earlier this valuation being dominated by chartered accountants, and chartered accountant being the only people, they being doing the audit, they being also issuing the valuation report. One good thing that happened is under the Companies Act, Section 247 of the Companies Act provides there need to be the registered value. Okay, registered valuer can be who? He can be anyone who has 3 years of experience, practical experience, and who can be an MBA, who can be a chartered accountant, who can be a company secretary. So the question is now this domain, which being restricted to a chartered accountant earlier, has been now open to anyone. Anybody who is doing an MBA with 3 years of experience, he can become a practitioner into the valuation domain. Okay. So he don't have to run for the job throughout his life. He can become the practitioner. He can start his job as a registered valuer. He can talk to they are various separate classes of valuation. Like they are the land building, plant and machinery, security class. So there's a body called IBBI. This talks about 3 different classification or asset classes. So you can be, if you being an engineer, suppose you can become the valuer under the asset side, under the land building, plant and machinery. If you being an MBA, you can become the security class value. If you being a chartered accountant, you can become the security class value. So this actually being the power that actually being provided to the MBA guys, because MBA have now the power to write anything on the balance sheet. It is the auditor who is signing. It is the company secretary who is signing. Now it's the finance guys, it is the MBA, it is maybe the CFA as well, who can enter into this domain with the power of signing the valuation reports. Okay, this is one part, like how the entire structure have changed, and now how more like the power and the force being provided to the MBAs, and they can become the practitioner in the time to come. But another is like when you are starting your career, again I would say, don't think, one thing I would say, I being here because I left my job in the year 2008, my first job which I got, and that was 50,000 rupees job. I left the job and joined a company which is just providing me 25,000 rupees. And that is the bold decision that you have made, that I have to go to this place. I have to choose my profile where I wanted to be. Okay, it is not like how somebody is saying I'm doing 50,000, somebody say you come to me, I will provide you 70,000, then you immediately switch over your career and say I'm getting 20,000 plus bucks. That is not going to define your future. Your future is dependent upon what you want to be. There may be, I take example, like a lot of people say like, it's been a very easy thing to do an MBA and get a job. And somebody who's doing a chartered accountancy, he takes about 7-8 years time. But the training that he gets, so it provides a certain amount of the domain knowledge. Okay, that is able to perform a bit better. Okay, but again, I would not say like MBA is better or CA is better or whatsoever is better, but because everything has its own flair. Okay, there was a lot of like the soft skill, lot of like the market thing you're able to learn when you're doing the MBA program. Okay, so that is all we need to look into, like how we can, at what point of time we are standing. Another thing is like who is the senior you are getting in your life. If you are getting the right senior, he will lead you to a right place. If you are getting the wrong senior, he always demotivates you. You are not worth enough. You can't do this thing. You can't do that thing. Then of course you start lacking. You start feeling, of course, there's a problem in you. Okay. So you should choose your senior also very carefully. If you are feeling that somebody, you have joined the company and somebody is always pulling you down, then it's better to leave the company and find another job. Okay, because there's no point like going with a company where every day is bullying you out. Okay, so that is, I would suggest for a starter who are starting their journey.